come this way. You don't go farther away from me. Thank you. So thank you for being here, and we're excited to have two great artists up on our walls and next to our walls. But first I want to talk about, we have two things called their poetry zines. Is that the right word? Zines. And so they're free. So one has poetry that is good for all ages, and one has poetry if you're an adult, has an X on it, and it's free. So it's Rachel Adams and is doing them, and so they're right here, so I'll let everyone know to help yourself if you need some poetry later tonight. So anyway, I'm very excited to show these two artists together. I've known both artists for a while, and I always thought their pieces would look great next to each other because their form and color just complement each other. Like it just looks well together. And so I'm excited, and we'll give each of them a chance to talk. We're gonna start with Margie. So Margie works with a palette knife, and I have a story about how Brian Gordy learned about you. I think you were in a show at Nutrista, and Brian was the judge. Brian Gordy was the judge. And so he said when he's a judge, he goes into a room and he looks at all the artwork at once. He does a quick pan of all the artwork. He did a quick pan of all the artwork, and your piece popped out to him. And then he goes back and really judges the artwork to see, you have to give the awards and stuff like that. But you want to know what your gut is telling you immediately, and his gut caught Margie. Later, when he went around to really look at each of the pieces for the award, she still got the award, and she compared. So that's sort of how that relationship, I think, started with the Gordys. And you've been an artist here at Gordys ever since. Yes. And we've done at least, this is our third show with you, I think, since we've owned the business. Yeah. I think it is. So every time I talk, everyone who knows Margie knows she's very quiet. And every time I talk with her, I learn something new. So I wanted to share what I learned today. So we're going to walk over to this painting. So Margie said, I asked how she picked her colors, because to me her colors are always so interesting. Like there's always a bright color, or the combination of colors work well together, but they're not normally the typical colors that you would see together, you know what I mean? It's just interesting. So I asked her how she selected her colors, and this was the painting we were going to talk about. And you said, tell them what you told me. Tell the group how you pick your, like what you do.
As I set up the still life, I picked maybe an orange and complementary color, the blue. Then I may use a split, which would be next to the red.
Okay.
And when I lay them out, I have a certain order, my preference, Then I mix everything first, colors. And I get some bright, get some grays. Then I look at the object and see what I can see. And to paint the dark and the light. And sometimes everything may not go where you want it, but some accidents do happen. And it's just like I put it down and leave it. I try not to rework it. That's what kills them. And for the background, it may be all three colors to make a dark color, something like that. And then I go from there.
Because I thought that was so interesting, because she has so many variety of colors in her pieces, but the fact that she only uses three colors generally, and then white, you have white you said, and then you just mix them together, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of trust and faith, and it always turns out well.
Well, it color brings the painting together, because you get too many colors, you may get lost in it, and something doesn't stand out right. That's where I started in the earlier years, and I have a full palette with the red, yellow, rose, and later on I started to limit some and began to experiment what color can I get. And I felt more confident in it. And it all works out for me.
I think it works out very well.
Nailed it, yep.
And some of them, like this one, they start with a color. Because it doesn't work out. I mean, just go across, go over again, where you see the first layer through the second layer, kind of leave spots and stuff, kind of bring it all together.
And the other thing I like about Margie's work is she paints a lot on the south side. So a lot of the buildings you see here are south side buildings. And I think it's really important that we capture all components of Muncie. And I really love the fact that you focus a lot on the south side buildings and just what you find out.
Right now, I like old buildings because to me they have a personality. I think they tell a story. And those buildings are no longer standing. And you can't come back and say I didn't do it right because it's not there.
You know, when you think about paintings like Jim Faulkner or any of those artists have done that captured rural landscapes that no longer exist. Margie's done the same thing for our urban landscapes, capturing that no longer exist, which is so really important.
Do you work from photographs or do you work outside?
I may, but a little bit. I prefer
Being out there?
going out and wrestling on the canvas and then sketch it on the canvas. I may take photographs for reference, but I try to memorize the colors that I saw. So, and some of them were painted plein air. You know, to sit right in front of it and paint.
That's what I thought you did.
Trying to catch the daylight.
So when you look at our landscapes and the buildings, we have put the location so you know whether they're the reservoir or around Converse. I always think it's important, like the location, like where did you paint it, because people want to make that connection. So, does anyone have any questions? But Margie will be here to answer questions, have private conversations.
I got one more question.
Okay.
So your still lifes, where did those come from? Do you arrange those or is
Yes.
this all from that?
Myself.
So you create the what
setting.
you got there? Wow.
I created, I use the same object over and over, rearrange and change colors and everything. As for the fruit, I like live flowers because when they shrink up or change or follow the light, they give you a chance to paint. And the fruit you just eat later.
Do you use mainly just palette knife, or do you ever use brushes?
I have, right now, I use most of palette knife. During COVID, I use the brush because everything is slow. So I can use the brush, but I prefer the palette knife. I just put it down and leave it.
Any other questions for Margie?
I just want to say we walked in late. You're lovely. That's not a question. You're just lovely. Beautiful.
You are very lovely.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's great. I always love working with Margie. I always love seeing what she's doing. I just think she's just a great talent, and we're very fortunate that you're part of our community. And thank you. So, as you know, Margie's quiet. Eugene is not. So Eugene has created a community with, is Jason's home there? They've created a community at Cornerstone Center for the Arts and in the ceramics community. And anytime class of either of those comes up, they're sold out within like hours.
There were a lot of repeaters.
You have a lot of repeaters and you really create a community there. And so anyway, why don't you tell us about what you do? And I always liked your, oh now Your glazes. I loved your glazes and your forms. So just talk about that and how you developed that. And this came to you after you retired.
Right. So that's I'm glad that Jason is here because Jason is really, I'm a product of Jason. Jason, he's a master, has a master's degree in ceramics, and he started the classes at Cornerstone. And so after I retired, I took a class. For like 20-some years, I was planning on having a wood shop. You know, sometimes I see Carl doing his work, and I was like, okay, framing, that's wood, that's cool too. But I took this pottery class, and I got turned on with pottery. And I'm just really still fanatical. I mean, I took this class in 2011, and like I'm a part of Cornerstone. It made months and down there with Torn trying to share pottery with people. I enjoy sharing pottery, not just making stuff and selling it and sharing that. I like sharing the technique of turning you on, getting you making stuff for you, getting you producing, you know, your bowl, your cup. You drink, so you say, hey man, this is my cup. I made this. That's powerful to me. And it doesn't have to be super great, but when it's you. And one of the things that I really get turned on to clay is the wheel. You know, there's so many aspects to clay. There's hand building, there's pinch pots, coil, slab, and wheel, coil, slab, and the wheel. But the wheel, just moving that clay and getting it to form to become what you want it to be, it's just so fascinating. And the part about it, like I said, I've been working with clay now, I guess 15 years, and there's still new projects. Just like this here, I just started this project, and it's really, it gets me, because it's a challenge. You know, when you make something like this, you make it done. Pretty much, it's like a blade. This was actually one piece, made, completed, together, I sliced into it, and then made the lid fit, and the yada. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that really turns me on. Like I said, moving the clay, but when you can make things fit, you know, like I don't know if you really pay attention to some of my lids. I hate to see a lid when you turn it around, you can see inside. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some of mine might be too tight, but very seldom will it ever be too loose. And these are just the things I enjoy about clay, to be able to move clay and put it where you want it, and to be able to use it in your own home, your cabinets, like my wife's, her flower pots, her watering pot, casserole dish. I'm saying, it's just so much. And I'm still excited about it. Still learning new things. It's still the same mud, but it's new items.
So your glazes, do you buy those, or do you mix them, or you mix your own glazes?
And that's another world to it.
Yeah, it is.
Play, because the glazes, okay, starting out when I started buying them, and then I started going out to John Peterson's for a while. And John makes everything. He makes his own clay, he makes his own glaze. And thankfully, because of him, again, that's how I got introduced to John. But anyway, I'm out to John's, and John's making his own glazes and making, I'm like, what? I mean, it's brand new for me. And so I kind of got turned, he already told me about it, but I got to be out there and see how it's done. It had some hands-on from John. I mean, he actually helped me produce my first glazer. And it is and isn't as complicated as all that, but it is because all these different chemicals or materials, they do different functions, and it's a lot more. I mean, I get recipes. I don't just create recipes. I got a book. You tell me, but it's not as easy as baking a cake. I mean, you know, you got to make some experience. You know, you got to mix up a few batches before you come up with the right combination. And then after you mix the batches, that small batch, and you make a big batch, and you hope it's what you had, and then you kind of get. But it takes some time, and that's a fun journey too. It's a little bit. It doesn't have my interest as much as moving the clay, but you know, you can't make a house without painting it. You know what I'm saying? And the prettier you paint the house, the more the house is appreciated. So that's, I mean, that's my appreciation for glaze. You know, I really did not as attracted to it as I am. I mean, I am attracted. I'm trying to really express my passion is moving the clay. But you don't just want the clay plain. You want some pretty colors and some colors that strike out to you. So that's kind of my journey. I mean,
I love your journey because your journey, started with Jason Cornerstone, which is a really important part of our community, and it goes to John Peterson, sort of the godfather of ceramics and pottery, and it goes with Torrin over there and what he does over there. It sort of brings all the ceramics components together, which really makes a great arts community. So I think that's really, really exciting to see. And if you guys have never taken a pottery class and want to do a ceramics class, go to Cornerstone. I took it one summer, and it was so much fun. So it's 8-week courses, and they do little workshops, and it's just, these guys are, Jason and Eugene are just great people for beginners. So, does anyone have any questions for Eugene? They'll be here.
I'm gonna tease you just a little bit.
Okay.
When you picked this one up, you went, yeah. In between how you separate the object and make the lead. Can you explain more
okay,
about
so
that?
basically what I was just saying, okay, like this piece here, so when this is finished on the wheel, it's pretty much finished. There's nothing else to do except to put the foot on it.
Yeah.
And then fire. This was actually attached like that. Okay, so I brought it all together. Okay, and some of the ones too, the knobs actually in the initial first process, one complete piece. Now I gotta separate it. I gotta make it fit. It don't just fit just because I cut it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I actually, to make it fit, where I can spin it all the way around.
How do you do all that?
Trimming and trimming and trimming. So that's what I'm saying. So it's not just complete. So in other words, it's like I take it off and I just, So when I first cut it in half, I actually stick this up here like this.
Lift that up there, Eugene. Show them what
I'm
you
bringing
did.
up a picture like this,
Yeah.
and then I kind of trim this here around because it won't slide in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I trim that around, and then I get it where it will fit in there, and then I can begin to spin it around.
Yeah.
So if it's not even, I'm trimming and making it even, spinning it around, trimming, making it even, trimming. So I'm just saying there's a whole lot more steps.
We got a saying in our family, measure 4 times, cut twice.
Well, because that's going to carpentry.
Oh, I get you.
No, because you get a lot more, this clay is moving.
Yeah.
The wood ain't moving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you cut it wrong, you just cut it wrong. This is moving, and so then when I turn this circle, is it a true circle? If it ain't a true circle, it ain't gonna fit. So then I gotta make it completely true with each other.
How are you cutting it? What are you doing?
Well, you got wood trim, you got trimming tools.
Yeah.
So like I'm saying, so if I don't make this, I mean, to make a circle,
if you want
two
to,
circles with clay
artist. I mean,
that matches.
if you could like have 2 seconds.
Because this wood is a whole lot easier to make two things. Yeah, but the wood don't move after you cut it.
Yeah.
This moves. Yeah.
Cool.
A lot of fun, man. I mean, yeah, a lot of fun.
Any other questions? Thank you, Eugene. Jeff wants to say something quickly about the
It
poetry.
would take more than.
Oh, okay. So, if you have any questions about the designs here, ask Jeff and ask these guys questions. They're here to answer questions and have conversations with you guys. Thank you so much.